Had she come from farming stock?
She hadn't, no. Her parents were originally from Barnstable, and her uncle farmed, so she worked on her uncle's farm. When she was like 15, 16, she helped out. He was a threshing contractor, so she got her love of farming from there. And then she used to go to young farmers' dances, and she'll tell me off for telling her this, but she went to a dance with Ken Gard, a local farmer who had 40 acres, but came home with my dad who had 200 acres. No, sorry, Mum, I apologise. Really sorry. But it is. I joke about it because I'm convinced I'm Ken Gard's love child, and she tells me off. No, you're not. You're definitely your dad's son. But that was at the time. That was a big thing, massive. And even at chapel, there's tales about people that went to chapel on a horse and went home with a different farmer. There was big tales about rumours, but that's another. Yeah, but no, that's how she met Dad. And then she just adapted to the farm lifestyle and fitted in. And having small hands, she was in great demand for lambing because she had the small hands. So that was her job.
What's the positive of having small hands?
Well, if you imagine a sheep and to be physical, my dad's big farmer's hands weren't ideal to get in, and the sheep wasn't too keen on a large hand person approaching her. Sorry. Yeah, and Mum used to. I remember when I was like 15, 16, started going out for her. She's 78. You'd go out, young farmers come back a bit drunk, and she dragged me out to help in the lambing pen once, and I wasn't all there. I was a bit merry, and she said, "Can you please go in? You're not helping." She said. Yeah. Go back in again. Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
I remember you saying your mum was very much tied to the house.
She was, yeah. She married Dad. I think she was 21. They married, and the phrase "the army marched on its stomach" that was Mum's mantra. That her job was to feed the farm staff, and whoever was there got fed. Whoever came in, so she virtually lived in the kitchen. The Rayburn, that was her life. It was bacon at 9:30 religiously. 9:29, the frying pan was on. 9:30, they came in from the early morning work. Then there'd be a cooked meal at 1 o'clock. Then there'd be tea and cakes at 5 o'clock. So it was just back, and that was her whole life, was to make sure whoever come in had a coffee, whoever turned up was fed. And with the modern generation, my children would be horrified at her lifestyle. My 3 daughters go, oh, that's not a life. But she loved it. She was happy. She felt she contributed to the farm because she was doing her purpose to keep them fed water so they could go back to work. And I remember brother Brian coming once and made himself a cup of coffee, and the lady helping in the kitchen was horrified. Well, you've been out to work. What's right? I can make a coffee. Oh no, you sit. No, you've been working. And that was that generation. Whereas my children's generation would be horrified if a man couldn't look after himself and do his own thing. But yeah, that was my. And she would do the chickens. She had hens. She'd make cream every morning. We had Jersey cows that would produce lovely milk and cream. I had cream every morning. Up to about age of 15 on my cornflakes I should be 30 stone.
That explains it.
Yeah. I just explained a lot. But it was every morning fresh cream laid on your corn. Absolute. I think I would struggle to eat it now because it would be they were pure Jerseys and they weren't fed, so the butter fat and the protein would be so high. It would be yellow, it would be a rich yellow colour. Absolutely beautiful. And that was just, then she'd take the cream up to school and flog it every morning. Yeah. And that was a bit of pin money, cash for her.
And I think her roasts were legendary, weren't they?
Yeah, bless her. Her roasts were just phenomenal, absolutely. And when I went to Agriculture College in Chelmsford in Essex when I was 18, I brought all my friends down. They came from London, Zimbabwe, Yorkshire, different parts, and they came down to Spittal for the first time ever. 18, frequented the Grove Inn, a few beers. Sunday, my mum would cook a huge roast, and they just couldn't believe it. So they got an 18-foot table and all. It was piled with food and more meat, and more roast potatoes kept coming out, and it was just, and that was part of, because she'd done it for when the hay harvest, when the recoming contractor come around, you'd have 16, 18 in for lunch, as that was, you got fed whatever happened, and everybody piled in for roast, so it was just, yeah, sweet memories.
Yeah.